So what's going on guys, Kate here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the best Erika build in Torchlight Infinite. So in this guide I will show you what abilities and core skills you want to get. Then I will explain what are the best talents, hero traits and armor to use for endgame content. And then lastly I will show you the best gameplay and even which stats you need to prioritize, so you would be able to get the best results and highest damage possible and much more. And then just before we start, I want to quickly clarify that this video is sponsored by XD Games, aka the creators of this game. So Torchlight Infinite has got a major update called the Black Cell Season 2. With this update you will be able to play the new hero called Erika. Then Commander Moto and Berserker Rihan have got a new hero trait. Then as well the already existing storyline now takes place in the Endless Sea of Void. And then on top of all this, there is a new system called the Hero Relics and much more. So no matter if you are new or returning player, click my link in description and download Torchlight Infinite for free. And with that said, thanks to XD Games for sponsoring this video. So then moving over to the first part where I will explain the Cateye Erika gameplay and what you can expect from this build. So this character specializes in the rapid movement in combat that gives her the ability to dodge attacks while doing super high damage to the enemies. Her hero trait is called the Windstalker that gains cat agility for 10 seconds after you move for 6 meters. While this cat agility is active, you will get plus 20% movement speed. And 200% increase and decrease in your movement is also applied to your attack damage. So basically with this setup you will be one of the fastest characters in the game. So then with all of this said, now let's move over to the build. And for our main 5 skills we want to use the Thunder Slash, Fearless Farsi, Bull's Rage, Frost Shield and Compound Source. So then for the first ability we have the Thunder Slash and we want to slot in the Multi-Strike, Raid, Raging Slash, Steamroll and Electric Overload. Then the second skill is called the Fearless Farsi and we want to slot in the Pain Amplification, Powerful Farsi, Lion's Roars and Coast Conversion. Then the third skill is called the Bull's Rage and we slot in the Pain Amplification, Mania, Cooldown Reduction, Extended Duration and Pain Amplification. Then the next skill is the Frost Shield and we slot in the Cooldown Reduction, Pain Amplification and Extended Duration. And then lastly for the last main ability we have the Compound Source and we slot in the Fragile Resurrection, Emergency Restoration and Armor Infusion. And then lastly for the extra 3 we have the Precise Nimbleness and we select the Precise Seal Conversion, Restrain and Selfishness. Then for the second one we have the Precise Electric Conversion and we select the Precise Elemental Resistance, Restrain and Stand as 1. And then lastly we have the Precise Cast on Critical Strike and we select the Fixate, Restrain and Soul Focus. And then if you were wondering, then this is how I allocate my energy. So then let's move over to the next part, which is our gear setup. And for the helmet we want to go with the Thunder's Jawbone and aim to get as high evasion, defense and lightning damage. Then for our chest armor we want to pick the Skin of Despair and try to get as high evasion, max life and attack speed as possible. Then for the next one we have the Destroyer's Amulet and we want to get high chance to obtain Step Strike, max life and evasion. Then for the fourth armor we have the Demon Slayer's Hand and we want to get the evasion, mana restored on hit and max life. Then for the next one we have the Infinity and we want to get high max life and defense. Then for the next one we have the Shadow of Thunderlight's Footsteps and we want to get high evasion, max life and any type of resistance. Then for one of the last ones we have the Thunderfire Ring and we want to get high resistance, max life and as high evasion as possible. Then for the next one we have the Chaotic Ending and we want to get the elemental damage, max life and plus 30 to all stats. Then for our first weapon we want to get the Farewell Desire and try to get as high DPS, gear physical damage and attack critical rating as possible. And then lastly we want to get the Blizzard Sword and try to get as high DPS, plus 270% gear physical damage and plus 80% to critical strike damage. Overall, as you can see, this is an endgame build, and if you just started playing this game recently, then don't worry about this and just equip all the gear that you can find. But then starting from level 30 or 40, only equip gear that is better either way in evasion, damage and max life. And then when you slowly get to endgame and about level 50, then you can start using my exact gear pieces. So then let's move over to the next part of the build, which is the talent tree. So we want to select the Goddess of Hunting, Marksman and the Brave. And then for the Goddess of Hunting, this is how your talent tree should look like till 12. And then this is how it should look like till 18. And then lastly for our core talents, we want to select the Paralyzed. And then for the second one, go with the Rushed. So then moving over to the second category, which is the marksman, and this is how it should look like till 12, and then this is how it should look like till 24. So then for the first core talent we want to select the Euphoria, and then for the second one get the Master Escapist. And then moving over to the last talent tree, which is the Brave, and this is how it should look like till 12. And then this is how it should look like till 24. Then for the first core talent we want to select the Joint Force, and then for the second one we want to go with the Well Matched. So in a quick summary, these three talent categories are by far the best ones, which will make our build very fast and do super high damage. I tested every single setup and talent, and after countless of hours of testing, this was the best setup for the Erika character. So if at any point I went too fast, then you are just feel free to pause the video at any time and copy these exact talent nodes. And then with all of this said, now we have come to the last and final build part, which is our hero trait, hero relics and pact. And this is how our hero trait should look like at level 80. So after level 32, you want to select the first option. Then at level 62, select the first option. And then lastly at level 80, get the second option. Then for the relics, you want to get the Cast Vengeance Diary. And then under level 13, equip the Tips for Cats. Then under level 32, equip the Cat's Night Safari. And then under level 50, get the Butterfly Hunting. And then last but not the least, this is how our pack tree should look like from the bottom and then from the top. As this mechanic is very in-depth, so I will soon make a dedicated video on this topic. But for now, just try to allocate as many pack points as you can. So then moving over to the last part, which is the Erika gameplay. So I will just quickly give you a short explanation of each skill and what is the best rotation to use. So then for the first skill we have the Thunder Slash, which is a simple but fun damage ability that will attack the enemies by slashing at them and dealing lightning damage. Then for the second skill we have the Fearless Foresee, which will activate a taunt that will aggro monsters nearby and will give you super cool bonuses like 10% additional damage, plus 5% strike chance to each enemy affected and much more. Then for the next one we have the Bull's Rage, which after activating will increase our melee skill damage, speed and radius. But instead of costing mana, this skill will cost life. So then in the next part I will explain how to use it to your best advantage. Then for the next one we have the Frost Shield, which will create multiple frost shields around your character. And these shields will damage the enemies, give you plus 29% chance to frostbite them, and then lastly the shield will protect you by giving you minus 38% damage taken from the enemies and much more. Then for one of the last ones we have the Compound Source, which every class has, and this ability will just restore your mana and life in few seconds. So if you ever run out of mana, then this is a great skill to use. And then lastly we have our special class skill, aka the hero trait called the Windstalker, that gains cat agility for 10 seconds after you move for 6 meters. While this cat's agility is active, you will get plus 20% movement speed, and 200% increase and increase in your movement is also applied to your attack damage. So basically if you constantly move, you will receive insane speed, which will give you the ability to speedrun dungeons and escape the enemy attacks. So then lastly, let's move over to the rotation, and this build is pretty simple and straightforward. So then at the beginning of the fight you want to run around the dungeon and use the Thunder Slash and Fearless Foresee. Then when you meet stronger enemies and need a damage boost, then now activate the Bull's Rage, and then right after use the Compound Source, and then from here just keep on spamming your Thunder Slash. And then lastly, if you ever need more AoE damage or defense, then just activate the Frost Shield and gain more DPS plus resistance. But I personally only use this if I get in trouble or when I'm fighting endgame bosses. So then let me quickly explain. Just by running around the dungeon we will build up our hero trait, which will give us very fast movement speed. So then from here we just keep on using the Thunder Slash to deal damage, and Fearless Foresee to aggro all the monsters that you can. Then from here, if you ever fight a boss or stronger enemies, then now use the Bull's Rage, which will give you damage speed and attack bonus, but in return you will lose 50% HP. So that's why right after we want to use the Compound Source to regain all of that HP and mana. And then from here we just keep on using your damage abilities. And then lastly, if you ever need resistance, then use the Frost Shield. Or when you run out of mana or HP, then use the Compound Source. And as long as you keep farming enemies, these skills will never run out. This build doesn't have a lot of defensives, so the goal is to keep moving and keep dealing damage. And if you stay on the move, then you will be unstoppable, and that's about it. So with that said, I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback or other good Torchlight Infinite builds or guides that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. Like I said in the beginning of the video, thanks to XD Games for sponsoring this video. And of course, don't forget to check out Torchlight Infinite Season 2 by clicking my link in the description. And then lastly, while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell. So this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I will see you in my next video. So take it easy, peace.